Today really marks the conclusion, the culmination, if you like, of an over 5-year journey for Jimmy Lai. 5 years since he was arrested in Hong Kong under national security offences, accused of publishing seditious material and colluding with foreign forces. And the eyes of the world really have been on this trial, on this sentence. How would China deal with Hong Kong's arguably most well-known dissident, most well-known pro-democracy voice? And the answer really is extremely harshly. This sentence that he has been given, 20 years in prison, really is on the far harsher end, I think, of what anybody expected in this case. And his family and his lawyers have long said that a long sentence of this nature would essentially amount to a death sentence, if you like, for Jimmy Lai, a life imprisonment sentence, because he's an elderly man. He's in his late 70s. He is not in good health. He has diabetes. He has heart conditions. His children have said that he's so weak that his fingernails are falling out. He's been kept in solitary confinement for over 5 years. So I think a really deeply distressing day and moment for his family and his lawyers who've been advocating for his release. Let's take a step back and just remind you who Jimmy Lai is. He is really a Hong Kong rags to riches story. He came to Hong Kong as a child stowaway. He worked as a child labourer before building up a massive clothing empire, before turning his hand to media. And he was the owner and publisher of this brash tabloid-style newspaper in Hong Kong called Apple Daily. And that publication, and Jimmy Lai at the head of it, was unashamedly pro-democracy, unabashed about its criticism, his criticism, if you like, of the Beijing authorities. And he has long been a thorn in China's side. But the focus on him really honed in around the 2019 pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong, protests that he took part in and supported. And it was after that that this big sweeping national security law came in, and it was under that that he was arrested. Look, in court, the judge described his crimes as grave, as premeditated, and said that they would not be taking Jimmy Lai's medical condition into consideration as part of the sentencing. But I just want to put this sentence in some context, because it's actually double the longest sentence we have seen thus far for a Hong Konger under this national security law. Even China's most famous dissident, Liu Xiaobo, who was the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, sentenced for sedition and other related crimes back in 2009, even he only got 11 years. So 20 years. Look, this is absolutely China making an example of Jimmy Lai, absolutely wanting to show the world that it is not going to back down on these type of cases.
Breaking reaction to the court case regarding Jimmy Lai. This is from the Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper, saying the British national Jimmy Lai was today sentenced to 20 years in prison in Hong Kong for exercising his right to freedom of expression following a politically motivated prosecution. Beijing's national security law was imposed on Hong Kong to silence China's critics. This post on X goes on to say, for the 78-year-old, this is tantamount to a life sentence. I remain deeply concerned for Mr. Lai health, and I again call on the Hong Kong authorities to end his appalling ordeal and release him on humanitarian grounds so that he may be reunited with his family. The Prime Minister raised Mr. Lai's case directly with President Xi during his visit. That has opened up discussion of our most acute concerns directly with the Chinese government. At the highest levels, following today's sentencing, we will rapidly engage further on Mr. Lai's case. We stand with the people of Hong Kong and will always honour the historical commitments made under the legally binding Sino-British Joint Declaration. China must do the same. Reaction there from the Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper to the prosecution of Jimmy Lai and that 20-year sentence. We'll bring you more reactions to that. It will undoubtedly come throughout the course of the day here on Sky News.